Today we celebrate Christ, the King of the universe. Growing up in what we now refer to as the Rust Belt of the United States, I had no concept of a king. When I sang the hymn, "To Jesus Christ, our sovereign King," the refrain, "Christ Jesus ruler," was what caught my imagination. As a child, I imagined in my mind my 12-inch wooden measuring stick that laid on my desk at school. Placing my lowercase r ruler into the hymn, I understood Jesus was someone I needed to measure myself up against. Jesus was someone worthy of awe and wonder, someone held in high esteem, someone to emulate, someone we pledged our hearts to. And then there was all this talk of Jesus the Good Shepherd. Well, sheep were almost as scarce as kings in the Rust Belt. Fortunately, the good sisters at the neighborhood Catholic school were more successful at conveying the concept of a shepherd to me, as they firmly but gently herded us to church for Mass and Friday confessions. Today's readings, we hear the all too familiar words about what a good shepherd Jesus is. He will provide for our every need. He will bind up the injured. He will heal the sick. And he will give us rest. We also hear that Jesus recognizes his followers when they feed the hungry, welcome the stranger, clothe the naked, care for the ill, and visit the imprisoned. Words so familiar they may simply wash over us. Or maybe in these extraordinary times, we will hear the words again for the first time. In these precarious times, we are so in need of Christ, the King of the universe. We are so in need of the Good Shepherd. We are so in need of those who care for the least among us. Certainly, those who work in medicine, epidemiology, and biomedical research are all working day and night to care for the ill and find a way to protect us all from COVID. To them, I am very grateful. How are we caring for one another in our everyday lives? Last August, when we came back to campus for fall semester here at Villanova, we all pledged to put community first. As part of our commitment, we monitored our own health and wore our masks 100% of the time when in public or shared spaces. These small steps allowed us to hold class in person this semester. As the semester draws to a close, some of my students have broadened the scope of the community they hope to protect and have decided to self-quarantine for 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, so as to be able to safely celebrate the holiday with their grandparents. It was good to see the sacrifice all those on campus chose to make out of their commitment to the Villanova community and out of love for their families. Taking our temperatures, wearing our masks, minimizing social contact, even to the point of self-quarantine, were our simple ways of caring for one another during the pandemic. In my neighborhood, serious thought has been given to how to support one another emotionally in our time of social distancing. Spring gatherings around the fire gave way to summer picnics out in the field, and with fall, we're starting to return to the fires. It remains to be seen if the Thanksgiving fire will be larger than the Easter fire was. As we reverence the human spirit and the need to celebrate with one another, while being mindful of trying to keep each other healthy in body, mind, and spirit. Yes, Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and for some of us, this would be a time to serve at St. Francis Inn or some other soup kitchen in the area. We still may be able to do that, but for some, that might not be possible. So out of concern for everyone's physical well-being, some of us may need to readjust or refocus our efforts to feed the hungry during this harvest celebration. With food insecurity on the rise and family, friends, and co-workers isolating themselves out of an abundance of caution, we may have opportunities that come more close to home to feed the hungry. This Thanksgiving, we may not only be delivering food to those seeking assistance from the food pantry, we may need to deliver food to our family and friends as well. In 2020, in the midst of a pandemic, I long for Christ, the King of the universe, to step in and solve our problems. I long for the Good Shepherd to care for the sick, feed the hungry, give us rest, and calm all my fears and anxiety. But the readings also remind me that Jesus' followers were the ones called to do these very same things. We are the people that need to care for one another in these difficult times.